What's up guys, this is Andrew at Night and today I'm going to run you through some games on the LG G3. This is a great phone for gaming. It's got a 5.5 inch QHD display which has got a pixel density that is pretty much out of this world. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's also got a really nice quad-core processor and the version that I'm using is the one from Korea, so it's also got 3GB of RAM. Whether that actually impacts gaming is sort of up in arms and people don't really know yet. It also supports an Xbox 360 controller via USB on the go, so I'm going to be using one of those for some of the games. This is a great phone for using a controller with because the screen is so big, it's pretty much a tablet. It's definitely in that phablet kind of area. So yeah, I'm going to show you some of my favourite games running on the LG G3. So enjoy the video, guys. So this is Dead Trigger 2, which I've shown you guys before quite a few times. And it looks like a giant titan has just smashed through the ceiling or something similar. And I'm playing this using an on-the-go cable plugged straight into the LG G3. Out of the box, the G3 supports Xbox 360 controllers, and I believe it also supports the PS3, but I haven't got a PS3, so I can't try. But I think pretty much any USB controller should just work straight away. The gameplay is as smooth as anything. It's got a 2.5 GHz quad-core processor, as I mentioned before. So the gameplay is really, really smooth. I've had absolutely no issues with slowdown. The screen is fantastic, so gaming looks really, really nice on this. Alright guys, so this next game is another one of my favourites. Oh, that's a good start. This is Shadowgun Dead Zone, which is the Shadowgun variant, which is an online sort of COD style, or actually no, close to Gears of War kind of cover-based shooter. And you run around and you kill people. Come on. I'm again using the Xbox controller with the on-the-go cable for this. As you can see, there is on the right-hand side of the screen, there's that really, really irritating white sort of overflow thing. Which is because of the notification bar, sorry, because of the soft key bar, and that's one of my real issues with the LG G3. I've only been using it for a couple of days. As I think I mentioned before, it's my dad's, it's not mine. I'm just reviewing it for him. But there's quite a few applications where they do just keep this white bar, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world to look at, I have to admit. It's just really, really irritating. It really detracts from the whole experience because the screen is fantastic, and this game looks really, really nice on this, and it plays really, really nicely as well. It's just a shame they've got that bar. But again, yeah, really good use of the controllers. All works just completely out of the box. If anyone's got a PS3 controller and has an LG G3, comment below whether it actually works straight away out of the box, because I know some devices tend to work with the Xbox controller and they don't really work that well with the PS3 remote or other proprietary ones. But this is just Shadowgun Dead Zone, another really, really good game. Great selection of weapons and things, looks fantastic and plays really, really nicely on the G3. Okay, so we've had two of my favourite shooting games. We're going to have a racing game now. This is Asphalt 8 by Gameloft. Again, another game that I've mentioned. I think it was in my top 10 games of the year, and I really, really like it. Again, going to be using the Xbox controller with the on-the-go cable. If you want to buy an on-the-go cable, I will put a link in the description to where I think I got it from. I believe I got it from Amazon, so I'll stick a link in the link. I'll stick a link in the link below. I'll put a link in the description below if you guys want to check that out. For some reason, it hasn't restored my game properly from the cloud, so I'm going to have to just play the first race, which is slightly irritating. I'll have a play around with that later, and I'll stick something in the description to let you guys know if I manage to sort it out. But we're going to start a quick race to show you how it works. Again, just a normal Xbox 360 controller plugged into the on-the-go. And because of the size of this screen, it works quite well. I often game with my Nexus 7, and I basically use it as a console. I prop it up against the walls and books, and then I sit back and use the controller with it. This screen is getting to the point where it's big enough to actually do that. With the Nexus 5 it feels a bit weird, and also you have to root the Nexus 5 to get it to work properly. But with this, everything works straight out of the box, and the form factor is actually pretty good for gaming. So we're just going to speed through a little test here. Really, really smooth again, as with all the other games. This quad-core processor really should be able to handle everything and anything that is thrown at it for at least sort of the next 12 months or so. It's a really nice processor. This is also the Korean version, so it's got 3GB of RAM. I don't really know if that makes any difference when you're gaming, because I don't think any of these games use up the whole 2GB of RAM, which is available in the European version. Yeah, it works really nicely, looks really nice again. The screen is just, it's a really, really crisp screen, and I'm going to talk about this in my screen review. Some of the colours are slightly washed out, but actually when you're gaming you don't notice it at all, and the main thing I'm getting is the fact the screen is so large and it's so sharp. I'm used to playing games like this with my Nexus 7, as I said earlier, and the resolution and the PPI on that is nowhere near this. This is really, really nice, and there is a small amount of slowdown with the Nexus 7. This is absolutely none at all. It's really, really nice. So yeah, this is Asphalt 8. I'm just gonna try to remember which button fires nitro. There we go. So this is Riptide GP2. This is one of those Tegra design games which basically is designed to show off chipsets. This runs fantastically well on the G3. The graphics are really, really smooth, as with all the other games, and again, we're using the Xbox controller. So we're just going to run quickly through this and just show you guys how it plays. As with all these things, I'm just going to be repeating myself. The screen is fantastic, the chipset is phenomenal, so there's no lag at all. And just because the size of the screen, it gives a much nicer experience, even if you're just using the on-screen controls, which work really well for this game. And for all the other games I've mentioned actually, it works really nicely. You hold it quite close to your face and you can really appreciate how good this display is. The balance and everything with the colours, it's slightly strange compared to say the M8, but saying that, as I mentioned before, when you're gaming you really don't notice that. This is a really nice phone for gaming. I'm just going to hit one more jump and then load up the final game. So there we go, this is a Riptide GP2 and I'll be putting links to all of these games as always in the description below. Alright guys, the final game is Injustice Gods Among Us, and as you can see with this one, unlike the previous games, there's no controller support, so this is just an indication of how this looks when you actually hold this in your hands and game on it in sort of a more, I don't know, a more normal sort of gaming, a more normal mobile gaming experience I suppose. Most people don't carry around an Xbox 360 controller and an on-the-go cable. But again, everything is buttery smooth. Compared to playing this on my Nexus 5, everything does look a little bit crisper. I think the screen really does come into play when the graphics are this good. The gameplay, absolutely buttery. I've had absolutely no slowdown, where on my Nexus 5 and my Nexus 7, it hasn't been hugely bad, but there's been the odd occasion where things haven't looked as if they're running at sort of the full frame rate. This feels really, really nice. It's actually a really comfortable device to hold and game with. It's very light because the body isn't made of metal, it's that weird that plastic composite, so it's really light in the hands. Also the fact that there's nothing on the sides, it's just bezeled. And the way you hold this, it doesn't obscure the speaker grill, unlike on the Nexus 5, so if you're gaming and you have the sound on, it's not gonna mess that up. The fact that the headphone jack is there is slightly irritating. I'd probably play in this mode with the headphone jack up there, because the phone's actually big enough where the headphone jack would come out over the top of my hands and it wouldn't be an issue. I hope you enjoyed that guys. As I said before, please follow me on all the social media networks that you use, and all the links to those will be in the description below. Please subscribe if you haven't seen before, and comment below if there's anything else you want to see about the LG G3, or to be honest, anything else that's Android related. I'll be happy to review anything that I have. If I don't have the phone, I'm afraid I can't review it, but I'll do my best to answer your questions. So all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.